And most people. They're gonna. Hello. I think. Are we on stream? We are. Hello. Welcome to Olympia Blunders. Season 2, Week 4, chess. Coming at you from 3 Magnus Brewing, Olympia, Washington. I think we're getting straight into the entrance vids for our first match. I'm Funk. We have Toad here. I believe this is Jonathan.
I think it is.
Coming into the boxing. Oh. No, it's Doug. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. Shoot. He's coming at me.
Oh man. Oh, he's repping Canada?
He's taking his clothes off. Oh, okay.
A move I think he might have learned from Kyle. I think we got Jonathan now, who is he skating?
Oh my.
No, he's on a. Oh, he is skating. Oh my gosh. Holy cow, we're up in the quality of these entrance vids. You gotta have wheeled device. Oh my gosh, they're like lighting up.
The light up is awesome.
That would be intimidating. I don't know if I would want to go up against that, but there you go. It's going to be our first match. I think we're getting into it pretty soon here. Like I said, I'm Funk. Toad, first time you're commenting for us.
Yeah, short time lurker, first time commenter.
At least on chess, right? You do.
Yeah.
I know you've been known to do some Rocket League commentary as well.
I've done Rocket League commentary. The crossover is none at all. There's
none. Okay, so you don't think you're going to be able to bring in any of your Rocket League skills, say, to this game?
I don't think so. Oh, they're already going. Okay.
Yeah, we are. It looks like they had already gotten started. Queen's Pawn opening here. Jonathan with the white pieces, Doug playing the black pieces, and repping Canada. Although it looks like he zipped up that hoodie. Maybe he is taking that back a little bit.
Maybe as the game heats up, he'll start.
Yeah, he can unzip again and use the threat of seeing Canada against Jonathan to his advantage, perhaps.
Do you think they're showing the hockey game in the background to distract him?
Probably, yeah.
Underhanded, dirty tact.
It's not on back here actually, but it is on in the pub.
Okay.
It preempted chess, so there's no chess in the pub right now.
So you can
come in the pub. What a tragedy.
Yeah, so we are live, 3 Magnus Brewing, downtown Olympia, Washington. You come on down, have a drink, watch some hockey, maybe watch some chess on your phone at the same time, perhaps, a lot of options, I guess, tonight. And we have, Jonathan versus Doug. I think perhaps these are Division 3 players.
There's divisions?
Yeah, there's 4 divisions. I believe this is a Division 3 match, despite what you're seeing with the standings there. Division 3. So we've just to fill you in, Toad and anybody who's joining us anew, we had a 6-game Swiss classification amongst all the players, which I think we're at 36 right now. And we use that as a placement, kind of, the final order of that Swiss matchup was placements into 4 leagues. And this is the 3rd league. And there is going to be, going into the playoffs, some promotion and relegation between the leagues, going to the playoff brackets. So that's going to be fun.
Is there anybody you've noticed in D3 or 4 who's trying to do the road to glory, who's, obviously tanked during the first few games and then is I'm in it for the long haul?
I don't think anybody's tanking. I think some going into the divisions.
Well, I'm looking at Garrett there, so.
Oh yeah. But, Division 4. That's, like I said, that's I believe the last game. Yeah, we got Leslie versus Kelsey.
Yeah.
It's Division 4 coming up at the end of the night, but. Division 3. I think it's interesting. I think the promotion relegation helped because, Swiss you sort of start to get matchups towards the end of the Swiss that are pretty close to people your rank. But if you get a hard road, in that first thing, maybe you're in divisional lower than you thought. You have a chance, to fight back going into the playoffs.
Yeah. I was looking around. What's the name of this thing? Like chess blunders or something like that?
Olympia, yeah, blunders chess is what we're calling this group. I think we'll probably have
like a move then, because I'm unfamiliar. Is blundering a move?
Yeah, well, blundering is like a mistake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And
so really just insulting this whole league, like saying it's a mistake.
Good mistakes. Yes. Okay. To the chess game, which it's going on. But it was so far pretty even. No trades or anything. People just kind of setting up. I forgot to ask you, Toad, too. Who's your money on for this game?
Money? I get money for this one?
If you had money,
oh,
what would it be on?
if I had money, I can't go with Team Canada. So whoever Bucket Hat Boy is that Jonathan?
That's Jonathan. Yeah.
Is, I gotta go with that.
There you go. Toad putting the money on Jonathan, the virtual unknown money that we're talking about.
I really like his shirt too. So that one, obvious choice.
Nice and cosmic. Goes along. I think maybe he should sling a leg up there and get those like lighted skates up on the table.
The word psychedelic is coming to mind.
Yeah. We talk about that a lot. We have there's varying levels. So these are live games. Varying levels of banter and distraction kind of go on. There's a little bit of head games in these live games that happen because of that.
Him sneakily drinking his juice. That's definitely gonna mess with Doug.
You never know.
Maybe like an extra loud slurp.
All right.
Actually, been known to be an extra loud slurper.
Yeah. Producer Ashley is a slurper.
That's a fact.
Good to know. Can't put that guy on stream with a bowl of soup in front of him. Ends in tragedy.
Looks like the horsies are kind of taking center stage here.
Yeah, they are.
I don't know the value of them. Like, I don't know if you would take the bishop horse trade and then have Doug's pawn move up.
Yeah, I mean, so traditionally, like, new players are kind of taught that certain pieces of point values, pawns being a 1, and then most people classify bishops and knights, aka minor pieces, as 3. But they aren't necessarily equal. But a lot of people will kind of consider a trade between a bishop and a knight to be equal. But depending on the position the game is in, that can change a lot of that. How that goes. But and then you got your rooks are usually considered 5 points, and your queen is 9. 9 points, very important. The queen, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Which Jonathan uses to check the first check of the game, I believe. And also, if you're new to chess.com's rating kind of system for the live game, if you see the bar on the left side of your screen, it swings back and forth depending on what the computer thinks. Like,
whoa,
who the computer thinks has the advantage. And right now it's heavily favoring Jonathan. He's got a bit of an attack going on right now.
My mind can't handle it. I don't even know. Okay, so what, he can take
so yeah
castle, right? So that castle's dead basically.
So yeah, since Doug took the knight here, that opens up the lane for Jonathan to get the rook in the return. Yep, and he does.
Oh, I see. Take the pawn, put him back in check. No, don't take the pawn, because that's a stupid move.
Well, Doug has to move the
Take the castle.
king.
Got it. Obviously.
Oh yeah. There we go.
Oh yeah, so I believe maybe producer Ashley missed it when we were talking about the standings earlier, but these are in fact the Division 4 standings. on the screen right now. And these are this is a Division 3 game.
God
so
damn it.
we could totally talk about the Division 3 standings once they're up there on the screen.
Fixing it right now.
Producers,
The computer loves Jonathan right now.
yeah,
If I'm not mistaken, it's Doug's turn. No. Is it?
it is Doug's turn. Yes,
Doug's turn, so he can take. No, wait, it was Jonathan's.
he,
Okay.
he checked Doug again, so he just moved that queen back one space. So now Doug moving his queen in between. Doug might just pick off more pawns
trade?
here.
I could see
You know,
that happening.
Yeah, I think a trade would be fine for Jonathan. It's kind of a lot of
Maybe
times.
take the pawn and start whittling him down, or I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of times in these positions, once you get an advantage, having that rook versus the knight is definitely an advantage. Plus, he already had a couple pawns, or he had a pawn on top of that. Once at that point, if you get an advantage, you just start trading. A lot of times, you just keep reducing pieces on the board, and your opponent can't really stop stuff if they're not careful. So yeah, Doug under a little bit of threat here. Have to come up with some ideas how to get out of this one.
It's really early, though. I mean, there's every chance, I'm sure, to play his way out, but
Yeah, these are there's a wide range of skill between all the divisions, but a lot of games, there's definite swings back and forth. It's easy to make a mistake, so a lot of times, yeah, I wouldn't count Doug out for sure.
wow. What a menacing sip.
I just want
That
to
was a
point
real
out that
statement right
the
there.
Half squares around the edge are distracting.
You can't half move into them.
It's like it's hard to tell that's the end of the board.
Little discussion about the live board.
Has their mic been hot this whole time?
It is, yeah.
Oh, they've just been silently.
They've been pretty quiet. I think we get a little less mic maybe than comes across on stream. If they kind of shield the mic too when they're talking, it'd be hard to pick up.
What you hear is what stream hears.
Oh, okay. What? We are Three Magnets Brewing. Doug does appear to be enjoying a beer, perhaps from Three Magnets. We'll have to see if we can get some info on what our players are drinking.
I am
Jonathan-
having the Chinwag.
It's a chinwag.
is that?
Okay.
It is a what is it? I can't remember. It's a very malty.
Looks amber. Looks amber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very malty. It's super delicious. Biscuity.
It's an amber ale. It's gonna go on the record.
We'll call it an amber.
There you go. Doug drinking the amber ale that he forgot what it was, but that's probably, maybe that's a good sign. He's so into it. He's also focused on this chess game.
Does it loosen the nerves? Does it make you a better chess player? I'm hoping.
I think it can. I think there's some personal preference there, but
Whiskey and
for
stuff.
sure.
I do miss beer sometimes. I was always for the IPAs.
I love a good super.
Pine.
IPA fan and Jonathan.
That queen still threatens. It's been a few minutes and Doug hasn't really changed his tactics too much.
I like the pawn push here to open up at least his light squared bishop now has some room to get out, I think. Before it was really just not doing anything. He's also his other knight still isn't developed as well, so
Really sophisticated palettes. Really more of
Jonathan trades the knights here.
Okay.
Which, like I was saying before, that might just kind of be the
I
best
like an Elay.
best avenue for Jonathan to take if trades are there.
Sure, yeah.
Why not?
I do prefer bourbon.
I mean, that opens up the chance he could move his queen back and take the pawn, but
Yeah. Queen,
I absolutely have no idea if that's the right move.
Yeah, queen or bishop, I think. Probably just take care of that pawn right now. Doug's doesn't have any huge threats going on. It's gonna take a little bit more maneuvering, I think, for him.
Yeah, you're right. If he can slide that across, take the bishop, that puts him back in check. The computer is still loving what he's doing, which is, the computer never seemed to like when I played chess. So
Peter wasn't a fan, huh?
it wasn't even up until the end, it just never really favored me.
I think we do have the correct Division 3 standings now. Division 3, aka Neville Wears Prada. The members of each division chose their own division names amongst themselves.
Is this a fork? Sorry to interrupt. I'm trying to learn chess.
Let's see.
If that pawn moves up, then I mean,
Yeah, that would be. I think if Doug pushes that pawn, yeah, that would be a fork. The queen and the bishop would be forked.
this might. Let's see. Is this Doug's turn or Jonathan's turn?
It's Doug's turn. Well, Doug just moved his knight.
Oh,
Didn't get the fork.
he didn't. Okay, he might be seeing something I'm not seeing, and so I respect.
But yes, we do have the actual Division 3 standings. You see Jonathan in a 3-way tie for second right now.
Oh wow.
Doug right behind, only 3 points behind that. So very important matchup for the standings.
Commentary, did you say Jonathan's in a 3-way?
I was gonna comment on that.
3-way tie.
I was thinking that's childish. I would never do that on a live stream. So.
All right, so we have Doug now pushing his B pawn, trying to make a little more space. Jonathan, though, still looking pretty strong.
Long pauses. Are we at risk of running low on time, or are they good?
They're still good. Yeah. There's pretty generous time limits on these Olympia Blenders games. We play 30-minute matches, although you'll see these games start with 35 minutes because we give a little extra time for these live games so that they still have to play and put the moves on the app, even though they're playing on the live board. So a little extra time just for that, that little difference. But yeah, 30 minutes pretty generous. And we do get some games that run into time trouble, but still tons of time on the clock here. Definitely nowhere near where a player is going to start worrying or anything like that.
Have we seen too many disputes? Like if you move a piece differently than you type it in?
The app is the official record for these games. So if a player makes an illegal move on the physical board, or something gets messed up, the what is on the app is what is considered the truth.
Sure.
All right, Doug maneuvering his bishops over to the side.
Right, yeah. The castles for Jonathan are still pretty far back.
Yeah, but I do like that Jonathan's the one on the F file, or the F file right behind the queen. That file is open now, which is that's a lot better for rooks if they have more open files and ranks. They're a lot more valuable. but Doug being a little sneaky here. That pawn push, he pushes that pawn, but he's also attacking Jonathan's rook with that bishop all the way across the board.
Oh,
Oh,
sure.
but there was a fork. There is your fork.
Pawn for
That
the
is
queen. Nice. Well
a
done.
devastating fork by Jonathan. King and queen.
Yeah.
Doug going to lose his queen.
Oh. Heartbreaking.
Wow.
Jonathan with the strong upper hand now. Doug going to have to do some work to come back from this one.
This is a really, really tough spot to be in, Doug. Well played from Jonathan. It looks like he's got a bead on the little horsey from the bishop.
Yeah, Doug's
He's
still
at the point
Doug's
where
still
you can't-
attacking his rook.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I see that down there. Yeah.
But yeah, Jonathan's
Oh,
looks like
he's
Jonathan saw it too. Yeah.
So then that means you can move that bishop up and threaten. Just kidding, it's gone now.
Doug continuing to attack, getting a attack on the queen, but I imagine that we're gonna see probably queen move, maybe pinning the knight to the king. Yep. Tough spot for Doug.
I mean, maybe you want to get that castle involved on A8.
Yeah, this is we'll see, but at this point it really feels like he's
Oof, yeah.
delaying the inevitable.
Not looking good.
Get on me here. All right.
See if Jonathan takes the knight or continues checking.
You'd think so. Take the knight. I mean, can't hurt anything as
I
far
believe
as I can see.
I believe the computer sees a mating sequence. I can't quite make out
Yeah.
the
I look at those sometimes too.
yeah. Yeah, Jonathan continuing a check, looking for that mate. It looks like. I think he's got it here if he wants it. Rook h6, I believe, is a mate, or queen h6. I think he's got multiple options there, and he finds one of them.
Well played. Yeah.
Good game from our players.
How stressful.
Oh, I mean, as much as I know about chess, that looked pretty flawless from Jonathan.
Yeah, not too many mistakes. Pretty disciplined play. And once he had that attack, he really didn't let up too much.
Yeah. So sometimes it does though.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, good game.
There we go. I think we're probably going to get to our traditional player post-match interviews here in a second. I believe Doug coming up first. One of our occasional commentators, Doug.
Yeah. Hello. It's easier
Hi,
on
Doug.
the commentator side
Yeah,
to see all those mistakes before they happen.
tough match.
That was tough.
It seemed like Jonathan really, he got a little bit of an advantage and just kind of didn't let up.
Yeah.
What were you just looking for openings there at the end? What was your plan once you started getting checked?
Well, I was trying to set up a back row mate, but I just kept losing pieces, so that wasn't. It just kept not being possible. So, and getting less and less possible as the game wore on. So yeah.
We've
it's-
got first time commenting this season, Toad in the booth here. Toad,
yeah.
Hey, Toad.
What did you think of the match? You have any questions for Doug?
You know, this is one of my first matches that I've seen all the way through, and so it's I've got more questions for internally than externally here. But I guess, when do you think it kind of started to go wrong? What was maybe the first mistake that you thought, if I did this, maybe that changes the course of things?
Definitely early blundering the rook away, and just that was a pretty bad mistake, and I think I got rattled from there and just wasn't able to recover. I think it would have been recoverable, but I just started throwing some desperation haymakers, and none of them were landing. So it was losing my rook early. Yeah.
Well, I think well played still. Like, Jonathan had a very effective attack. At least you got some tasty drinks. Hopefully your Canadian hockey team that you're rooting for.
I got to check the score.
You can go watch that up in the front of the house there. So
Yep, time for another beer and some hockey. Thanks for
All
commenting.
right.
Have fun, Toad. I think I've seen you play Rocket League, and you're fantastic, fun to watch. So it's kind of cool that you're doing some announcing here for chess. So awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, Smashly paid me enough, so appreciate it.
He pays well. All right, cool. See you
All
guys.
right. Thanks, Doug. All right, and we'll get our winner, Jonathan.
Second period just started, so I don't think he missed too much.
Hello? Hi.
Jonathan,
Hey.
congratulations.
Hey, thank you.
Well played.
Thanks.
Do you think your flashy skates distracted Doug at all?
That was my goal, There was no dress code that I was told, so there was no, I thought I could be as distracting as possible.
There you go. We thought that might have been an intentional play.
Yeah.
Um,
All in good fun.
it seemed like you had, you got that advantage. I think probably the rook, that rook for the knight trade first.
Yeah.
It seemed like you just kind of kept pressing it as you went.
Yes.
What were your thoughts? Were you just looking for more advantages along the way, or was there a specific line you were just kind of trying to get to, or were you reacting to what he was doing more?
I was reacting to what he was doing after we got to that point. And because I went up, I just figured, why not, as safely as I could, keep the gas on and keep going. So just took the opportunities that came up.
Awesome. We got first time this season in the booth, Toad. Toad, what did you think? You have any questions for our winner?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I really enjoyed watching it, but I was looking at the white bar. It goes up and down throughout the game. This was like the only time I've ever seen the white bar just perfectly stationary.
Oh no, really? I couldn't see that.
On the
so.
screen. So from like start to finish, after the first several moves, it was just rock steady. So I'm super impressed with how you managed to at least impress the computer and thereby impressing myself. So at least props going your way.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Are you a hockey fan?
I'm not, actually. I don't know much about
Okay.
hockey.
Okay.
I saw
It
U.S.
seems
is
like-
playing Canada.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
What's the
going
score,
on right now.
right?
So,
Okay.
well, chess is not on stream on the TVs in the front of Three Magnets. So if you might have to be subject to that if you don't have your phone to stream the Twitch.
We'll have to rib the bartender a little. Get chess back on the TV.
Awesome. Well, I think this also puts you, at least for now, a tie for first place
Oh,
in
wow.
the standings.
Awesome.
So congratulations there as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like I said, I think we're getting set up for our next game. So
Yeah.
congratulations again. We'll hopefully see you on stream. Getting matches, every point's getting serious now. So
Yeah.
great job.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
All right. There you go. Jonathan, our victor in game one.
I mean, if my math serves me, does this end the much talked about long-standing three-way with himself and two others now that he's moving up?
Yeah, I believe Division 3 appears several two ways. Just very traditional at this point.
I'm sure we'll see a standing here at some point again.
Yeah. All right. It looks like, seems like Toad is going to stick around for the second match.
I'm not sure. We might have Wyatt at some point.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome to. Don't believe Wyatt's in the channel yet, but if you want to stick around, it looks like we're getting set up Division 1 match.
Oh my god.
Intense match. Lucas and Kyle.
Oh, I know Kyle. Oh yes. I think he
Kyle,
smacked
yes.
me, and then this is why I quit the league. The Kyle's he's the problem. So
Kyle kicked you out of chess completely,
smacked
huh?
me so hard. I was like, I can't come back. I can't show my face around here.
So yeah, that is our next match. Yeah, a few minutes. I think, do you want to take a break here, producer Smashley? Yeah. We'll take a few minute break here and be right back with our second matchup. Olympia Chess Blunders. I believe we're back. Olympia Chess Blunders Season 2, Week 4. Halfway through the season. Second game of the night, and we have Wyatt in the booth with us now. Toad game 1, Wyatt will be with us, I believe, the rest of the games. So welcome, Wyatt.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here. Excited to watch some more great chess being played at Free Magnus Brewing here.
Excellent. We got Division 1, top division game coming up here. Players shaking hands. I think we might be doing intro videos as well. Yeah, I'll get some intro videos for you. Oh, here we go. Going into them. Here we go. This is Lucas and Thatcher.
Try to get the camera, see if you can grab it.
There you go. Lucas, secret weapon in hand. Thatcher. And then we have Kyle. Finger guns, Kyle. Knocking things over. Napkins. Oh. Oh, he's headed off in his own, doing his own thing. But we got him back. We got him back for the game. And yeah, I think we're set up here. Yeah, we got the Division 1 standings up there. Wyatt and myself on top. Congratulations, Wyatt. Well played so far.
Well, it's been a great season. Lots of competitive games, lots of chances.
Yeah, Kyle and Lucas both on 12 points. Shaking hands, getting started. Yeah, but both tied. Very meaningful game in terms of points right here. Lucas probably should have beat me in a game we played just yesterday. Very strong player. I got very lucky in that game. See how he does against Kyle, who opens that king pawn.
And we get the response of C6.
C6.
I'm not
that is
super familiar with this opening, so maybe you can shine some more light on it.
I know. So C5 is Sicilian, I believe. C6, I'm not as familiar with. Maybe. Yeah, that was my guess, setting up for that D pawn push.
Huh. I'm completely out of my depth here. I never played this as black, so I'm excited to see what this game turns into.
Yeah, I think maybe Lucas coming out can be, I think, a strategy. You know, a lot of the league players kind of watch each other's games, so it can be effective if you kind of mix up your openings. Some people I know do prepare for players where they know they play a consistent opening.
That's not to say that you should not look up my profile and see how often I play things pawn openings. That's something you definitely should not do.
Yeah, that's not allowed if you play Wyatt, but you know, if you want to watch replay the other matches, there's an option for you too.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so we got a couple pawns traded, a little bit of shuffling around. This is okay. So C6 is the Caro-Kann. This is morphed into a variant. I didn't know this. This is from chess.com. According to chess.com, this is the Caro-Kann defense, the hillbilly attack. That's right. Kyle is doing the hillbilly attack.
I doubt Kyle knows that himself, but I will say this position looks significantly more familiar with the knight out. I think probably the right move for Kyle is probably to push the pawn to d4 if I had to guess, but not entirely sure. You push the pawn d4, it looks like you have queen check on a5, but you actually don't because you get the knight jump into c3, so...
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. D4, I think I kind of like knight f3 too. I think either one of those moves kind Kyle had to do something to kind of at least try and get some control back at the center of the board. I think both of those accomplished similar things.
I would be highly tempted to push the pawn to d4, but instead we get a6. Attacking the bishop.
Yeah.
Logical move.
It's fucking just like so uncouth. Fucking like really low.
I love moving the bishop back to a4 here, keeping that pin. I love pinning that knight. It's one of my favorite pins to go for, but...
All right, he
Kyle's on
takes.
opposite
Okay.
takes.
Yeah, I think now, yeah, d4 I would expect at this point. But Kyle, he might see that castle too and take that. It's less kind of gives the tempo to Jonathan a little bit, I think, if he does that. But I know Kyle likes to play kind of a response game sometimes and play more towards, see what his opponent is doing before he kind of comes up with an attack, but it just does do the d4 move.
The d4 move is the correct move. You don't want to secede too much to the center. And the fact that if you don't do that, you still have all of your pieces blocked. Your black scored bishop can't move out. I think that was just the right move. I would quickly play e3 here, but the knight coming out's not a bad option, or castling is also not a bad option. You can do any of those and
Yeah.
say that they're all good moves.
Both of our players look like they're favoring the app a little bit. And Kyle does castle.
I kind of like that move. I think it's generally the safe move to castle there. I think probably the bishop coming out is probably slightly better just because you gain more piece activity, but I think castling is probably the most solid move. Puts you at the least amount of risk.
I don't know the name.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in this position, both players are really just going to probably play a couple developing moves over the next 2 turns just to get their pieces more active. So it doesn't seem like anybody's got some huge threat they're going to be able to mount very quickly.
No, and black is just plays that e6 pawn move. I love it. Lets you develop that black squared bishop out. You still got the optimal square on d6 for your knight. And Kyle just lash out at this bishop, and I am almost positive that the correct move here is to go to b5. But I do wonder if we will see that g4 move that I talked to you about if we do get b5, because I do know when I played Kyle in a bunch of daily games, he loved playing that move.
She comes up and asks me, she's like, "Do I look like a whore?"
Yeah, I've tried that before with the kingside castle already done, and it can be tough to keep up your kind of defensive structure after that if you're not careful. But we'll see.
I don't have one.
Can't change my strategy if I don't have one.
Kyle's saying he doesn't have a strategy, but maybe his strategy is to say he doesn't have a strategy.
It's an effective strategy.
We'll see. So again, Live 3 Madness Brewing, Olympia, Washington. Trying to turn this into the finest chess bar in Cascadia. Both players look like they have tasty drinks from 3 Magnets. See if we can get a report on what they're drinking.
Oh, I before E.
There you go. Lucas, drinking the I before E.
Remember, it's like a German something.
There you go. German style beer.
And Kyle actually is drinking something that he has ownership in.
plug it.
It's probably a self-care, non-alcoholic. I'm
This is
guessing.
the 3 Magnets Kuhnheit, named after the temperature scale, but German.
There you go. That's I believe that's a self-care non-alcoholic beer from 3 Magnets.
HS.
Very tasty brews.
The competitive streak makes this a very terrible game. I know you empathize with.
The players chat a little bit. This White's been on this move thought for a while, and it is kind of tough. You have a lot of options here that I think are all pretty decent. You have the super aggressive nuclear option in G4, which I would highly advise against, and but it's probably playable. You have bishop out to E3, guarding that center pawn. You could even go pawn to C3 and do the same exact thing. I'm a little bit less of a fan of that because it kind of blocks your black squared bishop and takes away the optimal square for the knight, but it's not entirely bad, I don't think. Or you even have developing moves with your rook, such as like rook E1. So you have a lot of choices in this position.
Yeah, I too like the bishop move. I think it develops a bishop, but still allows a lot of other pieces to stay where have good chance to advance. But we get the G4. You called it.
Yeah, I saw this a lot when I played Kyle inside of the daily games. He loved playing this move. I don't necessarily think it's inherently bad. It just makes it really hard to play if you get to the end game and the light squared bishop is still on the board. And I do like this aggressive knight jump targeting that bishop. Hopefully you can get rid of that bishop and then it's off the board. It makes that weakness on those light squares a little bit less brutal.
Yeah, it also gives them a chance at that C pawn if we get a bishop move like E4 or something. Let's see if Kyle takes the opportunity to nab a pawn on the queen side.
Ashley has rolled some of the saltiest nuts in the South Sound region. Said Ashley has rolled some of the saltiest nuts in the South Sound region.
There you go. Some salty nuts from producer Ashley.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Very helpful.
I'm curious what the computer thinks Black's best move is here, just because with Black in this position, you're kind of looking at your bishop and your pawn. You don't really want to give up that pawn on the C file, so arguably you probably should defend it and take back when the knight takes your bishop, opening up that rook. But then you're not going to be able to castle and super safely without taking that rook off of that H file. And you're not very well developed here, so if you're not careful as Black in this position, you can get yourself stuck out in the middle of the board if you are not careful about how you play this. So I would take some time to think about exactly what I want to do with Black here. I think definitely defending the pawn, but coming up with an idea of
Yeah, he
how I want
does.
to do this and choose to develop the knight. I actually love this move principally. I don't think it's technically correct because I think the computer probably just wants you to defend the pawn and allow the knight take and take. And that blocks your dark squared bishop in, which means that you can't castle it super quickly anyways. But
Yeah, I
on
think
the principal side, it defends everything, doesn't break your pawn structure. Super solid play from Black.
Yeah, for Kyle, I'd like to see him. Actually, I think just keeping his knight there. It does look tempting to just kind of remove that bishop. But I think right now, like you said, that knight's blocking the dark squared bishop. It's going to make, I think, further development right now a little bit harder for Jonathan. He's almost got to take a couple moves just to get into a position where he can start, bringing his pieces out like he originally wanted. So I feel like Kyle could possibly use that time to develop more pieces, but he chooses to trade. I'm guessing. I feel like I would take with the H pawn here. but maybe he just takes back with the knight to keep that pawn structure even.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think taking with the H pawn here is really good. Opens up that rook. But
yeah, just with Kyle's pawns pushed like that, having that rook just come into the attack there like that is be very annoying. But then again, I think if you don't take with the knight is kind of stuck a little bit and has to make a couple maneuvering moves to get into a position where it can be effective again.
Yeah, no, it's. I think this is a great position for black if you can find the H move. If you don't find the H move, I think this is still very much a game in all senses of the matter.
Yeah,
the knight move is very tempting from the standpoint of playing safe chess. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think even taking the knight then has some good squares to move to on that white king side after that as well. So, yeah, and computer favoring Jonathan's position a little bit now. But Kyle by no means out of it, that's for sure.
And how are you going to defend against this? I would be very tempted to play queen d3 in this position just to cover that pawn, the H, but then you allow that knight jump into h4, and I'm not sure how to deal with that after that. What are you seeing here?
Yeah, I think I'd prefer the. Yeah, for some reason I feel like I want to get the bishop into the game. Moving the queen feels like it just. For most of the spots you could move it to, I feel like that opens up opportunity for attack from the knight. Like queen d3, then Jonathan's got knight f4, still putting pressure on that pawn again and the queen this time. Also giving him kind of an opportunity to then move that queen in to h4, possibly on the move after that. So I feel like getting the bishop a little closer to the action on the king side is my instinct. I don't know if that's 100% correct, but something like bishop e3, I think, is probably what I go with, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, if I rule on to play really crazy chess, I'd play f4 here with the pawn, but that's absolutely.
Yeah, I was looking at pawn pushes. That would be kind of wild.
King still is in the center, so I wouldn't hate it. I don't think you're fast enough, but if black doesn't make the right move on the next move, you might have something.
Yeah,
I still think your bishop idea is probably the best. The best move in the position is probably just to develop the bishop.
Oh, f4, awesome. Okay. I don't know if I would have gone that way, but I like it seeing it get played. I think this is much more interesting to think about anyway.
Yeah, and I think the correct move is just to develop the bishop here out to d6, or to even to e7 probably is not bad. But I think I like d6. I like the optics of it significantly better. You're attacking that pawn. It feels like you're making room for that. Your king castle, your queen still has a little bit of room to maneuver on that side, and so does your knight.
Yeah, I feel like regardless, we might. I don't see a lot of moves after this where Kyle, I feel like, doesn't push that f-pawn again. I kind of feel like that's coming almost no matter what. We'll see though. Could get something if Lucas tries to go aggressive. We could get something like queen h4 as well. And Kyle might have to think about defending that h pawn after that.
Queen H4 is interesting. I don't know what you're doing with that position after Queen did.
Yeah, because I think response was probably Queen F3, right?
Yeah. Oh, this is a very interesting position. You don't get to see this every day. And this is what you get when you get super aggressive chess here. And Kyle's definitely playing a super aggressive game.
All right. Jonathan's still thinking about, I think this is probably his longest. Taking his time on. Oh, did I just say Jonathan? Lucas? I think we had the wrong labels and I just read straight off of it.
Yeah,
Lucas,
that definitely wasn't my fault.
Lucas probably taking the longest time on a single move so far. I'd guess. Really considering this one.
I think you need to, because you in this position you should be able to sense that you're kind of up, but it also is kind of dangerous too, because all these pawns are being shoved into your face. Your king's still in the center of the board, and if you make the wrong kind of move here, it could really put you back. And
oh, there's the bishop.
wow, white develop. And I absolutely love that move. Even if you do get the F pawn push, you can take here, and then you just play knight to e7 if you need to cover it up.
Yeah. But Kyle quickly, I think sometimes Kyle sees the line he wants to play, and I'm pretty sure he was just looking at that F pawn push this whole time.
It is very scary. There's a lot of ways that you could respond to this incorrectly and get yourself into a load of trouble very quickly.
Yeah, I think for Lucas, there's some definite risk here where, Kyle starts taking these pawns. Kyle's rook is going to be probably the most threatening piece after that, depending on how this plays out.
We have a takes.
Yeah, it takes. Computer kind of swung back towards Kyle's favor a little bit there. I don't think it liked the straight take.
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain why the take is so bad.
This entire
You
time.
can do that. I don't mind.
Maybe Queen E7 there? No, because it was the knight. I'm not sure what it wants there.
castle.
Oh,
And so
maybe it wants knight back to F8, maybe? Ugh.
I need to
I
keep the
hate
rook
playing
on that
that,
file.
but that
So what
might
I'm
be what
thinking-
it wanted.
My choices are either A, put you in check, B, threaten your knight. Like, those are the two obvious options, because then you either have to move your knight or risk going into check the next turn. And your knight options are not awesome. Like, you've got like one square really where you could go that is not shitbag city. But
Which is not where I want to go.
I have heard tale of this.
Kyle really talking out his strategy, it sounds like.
Like I said, I've seen him play this kind of chess multiple times. Or he just goes ultra aggressive on the king side after castling king side, which is not conventional wisdom. That is a computer-esque thing to do.
And he goes for the check. Lucas quickly interposes with the knight.
And now I gotta think, do you take with the rook here, knowing that they're gonna castle next and you're gonna have to move the rook, or do you take with the pawn and destroy your pawn structure even further? Or do you play a move like maybe what would be another move you try playing here?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like at this point, if I've gotten myself into this position, I'd probably take it with the pawn here. Because even if Lucas castles, then you still get the pawn push afterwards. Lucas would need to, kind of mess up his kingside pawn structure to address that. So, and then Kyle's kind of dark squared bishop is kind of lined up for taking advantage of that at this point. So, yeah. I kind of like taking with the pawn there.
It's not the move I think I would have done in the position, but I think the more I look at it, the more I think that you and Kyle are right.
Yeah, with Kyle's play, I think what is the saying? I think in for a penny, in for a pound. Yeah, I think at this point you just keep going with it because, yeah, now the queen doesn't have an avenue at this moment because of the knight blocking it. Yeah, so Kyle again in a position where I think he can, at least have a couple moves to either develop his pieces or, maybe try and make up for some of the shortcomings that might have happened because of all those pawn pushes.
I'd be very tempted as black here if we end up getting a position, say, where black castles and then white pushes that F pawn. I'd be very tempted to just let him take it and then sit behind it and move the rook onto E8. I think that's probably what I would go for.
Well, that would be interesting, yeah. I think Lucas could consider here also just the F6 pawn push too. I kind of could open him up for a check. I don't know.
Yeah, with the light squared bishop off the board, and you got those two center pawns on the light squares, I think that's honestly not that bad.
Yeah. I don't love it, but I think it could be a potential option, kind of at least to disrupt those ideas that kind of naturally come from having to deal with Kyle pushing the pawn himself.
Yeah, if you do it now too, you also just prevent the bishop coming to G5 and forcing you to do it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially at some point in the game. I know in similar positions where I have this D pawn and then I'm facing these two pawns in the center, I like jumping my knight out to C3 and then immediately jumping out to A4 and back onto C5 is the knight maneuver I really enjoy doing here, and trying to get my opponent to trade their bishop for my knight.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that knight becomes a really strong piece if they don't trade it, and if they do trade it, then I remove the bishop, and getting that bishop off the board makes dealing with their fact your king is so open a lot easier.
All right, Lucas on the clock. Oh, he brings up the queen. Okay, so threatening that D pawn.
Like it.
I'm telling you now, it's not
What am I doing?
causing shit, fucking around. You're gonna find out is what's gonna happen.
I think.
A little banter going on.
Do you have maybe, say, white plays something like C3 here? Do you just have the pawn push, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I think C3 is fine. I kind of like it better than, defending with the bishop or queen. Defending with the bishop, kind of, you lose the pressure on that knight. Queen you could do, but I don't like it kind of being pinned to that pawn as well. But wow, I did not expect that defense of the pawn there.
Ooh. Surely there has to be something good here for black. I'm not seeing it instinctively other than just the fact that you take that pawn with check, but eventually if you never get the queen off, but I don't see an immediate way of how to do it. Maybe you just have the knight sack, maybe. I don't know.
So Lucas moves the rook, so foregoes any chance of castling now. So
I
That
really
no-
hate that move.
no longer consideration. Kyle does have his bishop's a little frozen right now because the queen's putting pressure on that b2 pawn. So maybe we'll get a knight move, something like that. Also, possibly something like e1 maybe might work. Oh, wow. Kyle pushes. I don't think this works.
No, it does
I
not.
think he's
Oh,
gonna,
no.
he's gonna be,
I
he's gonna
forgot
be
that's what
forced
they
to
did.
take the rook with the queen. It's pinned now, defended by the knight.
Forgot that the rook was protected by the horse.
See,
Yeah. Oh no.
makes an L shape.
I am definitely feeling the L.
Maybe Lucas moving that rook in anticipation of that pawn push.
Yeah, that'd be a crazy read.
I think that's might have what he might have been doing.
Very similar to the moment we had last stream.
This.
Oh, sorry.
Is that okay? If I...
You had a game where
And then I
somebody made a move
Yes.
specifically just in case somebody castled, and they did. So
Yeah, so Kyle checking. I think he's gonna have to get his knight out here next, probably. Kind of curious to see if we'll. No, oh, Lucas just moved to the king. I was thinking maybe he'd block again and then go for possibly the queenside castle. But just moves the king out of the way.
this is a game I would just
Yeah.
resign 100% of the time.
I kind of like that. You open it up and you're looking to trade the rooks on e8 with that move. I think is what the plan is, and I don't see a way for Kyle to really get out of this this trade, and he's not developed enough on the queen side to withhold anything over there. Failing to find a good try here.
Yeah, defends that D pawn, which was up till that point unprotected as well. Yeah, Lucas now with multiple threats. I think he can come out with. Yeah, I do like just moving that rook over, either taking control of the file or forcing the trade.
Yeah, I think you're looking really good if you force the trade right there. The bishop is essentially unmovable on the back rank, and because of that, you're just in a completely stagnant position. You can even just drop the queen back to, if you're black, you can drop the queen back to b8, and now you have a nice laser battery focused on the king. The king's gonna have to move and burn another tempo trying to defend against that.
Mm-hmm. He moves the knight.
Come on, do it.
I think you have to develop the knight to d2 here if you want any kind of counterplay in the game.
Yeah, I just don't like it because then your only moves after that are like f3 or b3, and your bishop's blocked until you can move the knight again. I was kind of thinking maybe just at this point go for something like b4.
b4?
Yeah, just push
Okay.
that pawn.
Maybe
Mhm.
follow with a4 and a5 or something like that.
Something, or at least it gives you more freedom to, start using your bishop. Yeah, I don't know.
And if I saw b4 on the board, I'd be very tempted to just sack my dark squared bishop here for the 2 pawns.
Moves a rook now. Attacking that F pawn.
And that is a weakness Black has in the position.
Lucas quickly checks.
H1 only move here? Or maybe you can you go? Yeah, I think H1's probably the only move.
And the computer actually sees a mate in 6 for Black. Giving it a very strong indication of positionally how this is playing out right now. Yeah, the actual maneuver to accomplish that, I am not quite sure what that is, but
I would assume it has something to do with the knight, if I had to guess, but knight g6, and I don't know where you go after that, though.
yeah, maybe. I mean, there could be something like a pushing the queen up one, like queen b5 as like a setup move to try and get it over to that side of the board. Lucas just pushes that pawn, so it's defended by the knight.
That's so cool. Sorry, Red Dog. Like really mean sometimes. Oh man.
Kyle feeling it.
Yeah, there's not much to like about this position, and I think that made it a lot worse.
Oh, at this point,
As
just
soon as
trying
I was like, wait,
to
there's a reason he was parked there.
force something. I don't think it works.
Yeah, I think I would have tried to
Top free
push the
piece.
pawn on up to h4 in that position, just in hopes I can anchor my bishop there, and false hope.
I mean, you can do that now, though. I guess I'm still gonna. I'll just.
Space suit.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just. My secret plan. No. Shit. I think I'm gonna resign. Good game.
Oh, that looks like that's it. Kyle, not gonna play this one out. Luke is all over it. Well played.
It's an entertaining game. Very aggressive play from Kyle, and Lucas dealt with it quite well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Kyle a little bit. You know, I think that pawn push, you know, just kind of missed that. But Kyle, hello. No, wait. I don't think we're connected yet. Working on getting Kyle here.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Kyle. Can you hear us?
I can hear you so good.
Awesome. How do you feel after that? It was a pretty close game. It seemed like for a lot of it, kind of when you got the queen, kind of that queen pin there. It seemed like that was probably where it fell apart.
Oh, why? Did something happen? Was that bad? No.
Yeah, you know, it's good if you keep your queens, but
Really?
you know,
Fuck. I've been playing all wrong for years. No, I was just trying to speedrun
play
getting to hear
how
your
you
beautiful
want,
voice.
Kyle.
Fuck.
You got to play how you want.
Wait, what is? Oh, there's a Smashly. Yeah, no, it was funny. I was laughing with Lucas about it too, because it was like, oh, I thought I had done such a sneaky. I was like, haha, I push my pawn, I do this, I fork it, blah blah blah. Oh wait, it's protected. Fuck. And then it's just immediate check. Uh-oh. I would have resigned right there, but
Yeah.
Kelsey told me that I had to keep playing.
It's too bad. Too bad. I think we were kind of we kind of liked your style there. Very aggressive for a long time on the king side, especially with your pawns. It seemed kind of like Wyatt was saying, you kind of seen that style of play from you before. It seems like you kind of enjoy that kind of undertaking.
Well, I mean, I think it's like you're pushing somebody in a position where they're more likely to make a mistake. Like if you're playing like a defensive style against a better player, like they're gonna fucking wax your shit. So if you play a spicy or aggressive version, I at least have found some success, but it is like very boomer bust. So, if I hadn't have made that fucked up move, I think I was actually in a pretty good position because I was about to connect some things and then put a lot of pressure on the king. But
Yeah, no, I think it was. We were looking at the meter. It was it was pretty close. I think one player had. I think Lucas had a slight advantage for a little while, but it was like nothing huge. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, Lucas is a beast. So he's been tearing it up. I mean, I told everybody in the chat, you're gonna clap my cheeks raw, and that is exactly what
Lucas
happened.
lost this week.
That's not canon. That didn't happen. Everyone I've played is undefeated.
we have Wyatt here, the current number 1 in the division standings. Wyatt, have any questions for Kyle?
Now, in our mini daily games, you've played that G4 move a lot, and then when I was actually talking to Funk about it before the game was going, and I was telling him that I think that we might see it on the push because I know that you like to play it. When it comes to like playing like the aggressive style, like what made you take with the pawn there to ruin the pawn structure? Because I think that was like what really actually made that attack really dangerous was after you took there. And what was the thought process behind it other than just like did you see that fork that like 4 or 5 moves out, or what was the thought process?
Yeah, I mean, I've played that sequence I think generally enough to have an idea of like where it ends up if you do it right, like, and if the right conditions persist. So like that was the idea. It genuinely came down to the fact that I'm baked and I like forgot that the rook was protected by the fucking knight. Like I genuinely was like, oh damn. But yeah, like all of that was planned. But although it was funny because it was such an open on defense, I don't know. I usually try to play like more closed games, and that was like way open.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting hurry up.
It's very exciting. Yeah. Wait. Hold on. Before you go, it sounds like you lost your Switch, I believe.
Oh, it fell out of my bag, and fucking producer Smashley found it in the parking lot last night.
Oh wow! So Hero Smashley is what you're saying?
Yeah, he's generally a pretty okay dude.
There you go.
All right, thanks so much for commentating, guys.
Okay, dude. Thanks, Kyle. All right, and we got our winner, Lucas.
Yes, hello.
Lucas, I imagine you're feeling pretty good.
I needed that one. Yeah, it's been a rough couple days.
We were talking about that rook move, to set up before the queen pin happened, and we were kind of like puzzled at first while you were doing it. Didn't seem like the great move, but it seemed like it was probably in anticipation of that pawn push, kind of assuming he would do that. Was that your thought behind it?
I was definitely defending against the pawn push. I was just kind of looking for a good alignment. I saw king and queen on the same rank and wanted to maybe create some opportunities there. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the eval doesn't love that one, but that was what I had in mind.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think the eval hated it. It was, it was just up until then, it was a pretty close game anyway. So I think at first, it didn't click for us what was going on there. But yeah, I think Kyle can be focused sometimes on particular moves. So maybe that was what you're seeing.
Yeah, if anything, I kind of wanted to prevent the pawn push too. But yeah, he definitely had me on my heels up until that point. I think I was. It was a position I definitely haven't seen before, and I was out of theory really early, and I was just trying to make best with what I could in a defensive situation.
Yeah, we got the current leader of Division 1, Wyatt here. Wyatt, do you have any questions for Lucas?
Yeah, it's like when you're in and out of book like that, when you really aren't used to playing the position, like how do you want to manage your time as far as thinking about moves, and like how important do you think it is to make more like concrete moves versus more instinctual moves?
Oh, I definitely was like way out of instinct for this one. I do kind of, Karakhan is like my default black defense. I think John and I had a game recently where I think it was like the most in-book game I've ever had. And when that starts shifting on me, it's tough because I just flagged out last night, and so I want to make moves reasonably quickly, but I'm also in unfamiliar territory, and I'm trying to figure that part of things out too.
Yeah, well played. I think this puts you in a good position in the standings. So, congrats, and enjoy some hockey, perhaps, if you go up front there.
Cool. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Lucas. All right. We got our next game coming up in 2 minutes, folks. Stay tuned. And we are going to take a short break.
More like
All right, I think we're back. We have our walk-ins for our final match. And here comes Leslie. I think we're just going to let this one play out. Oof. I don't even know what to say. Dollar bills everywhere. Flash in the cash. Fur coat, perhaps. Twirling, signing autographs. Mugging for the camera. This is just... We are up in our entrance video game here. Kelsey there, producer.
one of our best ones yet.
Oh wow, Kelsey, even her opponent is even getting in. There we go. That was Leslie's walk-in. Apparently Kelsey's walk-in as well at the end. And we're gonna get our final match underway. Leslie versus Kelsey. This is a D4 matchup. Kelsey, at this point, the only undefeated player in Stage 2, Season 2, Week 4 of the Olympiad Chess Blunders group. So Leslie could try and be the first one to hand Kelsey an L. Leslie playing the white, Kelsey playing the black. Wyatt, do you have a prediction for this game? Do you think Kelsey's going to keep rolling with the dubs?
I actually am going to go with Leslie in this game. I think we may see a surprise in this game. It's tough to just keep winning like that all the time, especially as black. And I think eventually you might see a mistake come out of Kelsey, and then someone able to actually take advantage of it. But we'll see. Kelsey's been in incredible form, to say the least.
Hard to come up against that swagger coming with the walk-in though. So we'll see. Yeah, Leslie sitting right in the middle of Division 4 right now. Definitely could use a few points here going into the second half of the season.
We already have a very interesting Horsey opening here.
Kind of a mirror game so far.
Question is how liquidation heavy are we going to be on the first several moves here? Are we going to see like a Queen E2 from Leslie here attacking the knight?
Yeah, I kind of like Queen E2, especially it's easy to make a mistake if you're black. If you don't defend or make the right move, you can open yourself up to a discovery check if you're not careful.
Yeah, I think I'd be a pretty big fan of that move. We'll see if we get it. I also wouldn't mind just seeing something simple like a D4 here. Instead, we get a knight move attacking the knight.
Mm-hmm. See how Kelsey responds. Little fun fact, both players share 5 out of the 6 letters in their names.
That is quite unbelievable. And based off their copycat opening, they share some ideas on the chessboard as well.
Yeah.
That's the thing with the openings. Yeah. They don't really work if you, because they depend on the answers.
Got the players discussing the position on the board.
And I know this is also a matchup these two have definitely played each other multiple times before. I'd have to go back and look though to see who's the victor in these previous games. I might go check that.
Yeah, I think we saw this matchup a few times in maybe in the first season of our chess league here.
Yeah.
And I love that move from White. Attacking the knight, pushing it, making it move again, and Black is just going to be a bunch of tempi down here at the end of this, I think.
Yeah.
Just dancing. Having fun dancing.
Wonder if we'll see the pawn push again, perhaps.
Keep dancing.
Yeah, I think that, or maybe the light squared bishop coming out makes probably the most logical sense. I prefer the pawn push, but
Like those ones now?
I wouldn't hate the bishop to c4 here.
Alright, guys. Do you like them though? Not really. I'm nervous. So I have to.
For anybody joining us late, this is Olympia Blenders Chess. We're coming live from 3 Magnus Brewing, Olympia, Washington. Come on down, have a drink, at least in the next 30 minutes, or any other time. We're doing this just about every Thursday, I think, for the next 4 weeks. We've got some playoffs coming up after that. I'm sure we'll have some games on stream there. Leslie taking her time on this one. We get a night move.
Yeah, and this night move is interesting. It's very aggressive. I'm not exactly for certain where we're gonna go.
Kelsey quickly pushes the pawn. It's a good idea. Those two knights right there in the middle of in your face could be incredibly annoying if she doesn't address it.
That is absolutely true. Your worst case scenario is both of those knights somehow get joined up together and start defending each other and become menaces in the middle of the board. I think
Oh,
we'll get-
9. Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Come
go
down
right
until
ahead.
9 o'clock. That's my bad. Correction. Commentary correction, 9 o'clock tonight. Sorry, Wyatt. Go ahead.
I was about to say that I think we're probably going to get just knight back here. I think probably to f3, and then but instead we get knight to g4.
Still hanging out there. I have a feeling that Leslie kind of likes the pressure of having the knights further up the board like that. Maybe hesitant to pull all the way back to f3, but
Fair, the knight's defended by the queen here. It's not overloaded as of yet by defending the pawn and the knight on the same rank.
yeah, I think if I'm Kelsey, I think maybe bring out your other knight here. Got to start developing, I think.
Yeah, create double attack on that d4 pawn. I do like it. And instead we get the knight kick, which is also not a bad move.
Yeah.
We'll see where this knight ends up. It's got a lot of squares. I think the one square you don't want to go to is to e3 here. That would be rather unfortunate, I think, because it might trap that
Kelsey, what are
knight
you
that's
drinking?
on g4.
Producer Ashley, I am drinking a Schurler Easiest. This is one of 3 magnets, self-care, non-alcoholic line because I need to not be a wreck tomorrow.
Was that a wreck or erect? What was that?
Producer Smashley there, making a little dirty joke. Good on him. Yeah, that was the Schurler Easiest. That's if you've been down to 3 magnets, they have the Schurler, I believe the Schurler Light, or maybe no Schurler Easy, and then the NA self-care Schurler Easiest. Got your whole selection, alcohol or no.
Yeah, we got the players taking some of their clock here, just thinking about how they want to play this move out in the middle of the board. And I think this might be one of the games that the players have been most thoughtful about their early moves here that we've had in quite some time.
I did mean a wreck. Wreck. I need to be functioning tomorrow.
Why?
What?
Producer Kelsey with the clarification. Looks like Leslie settling on a move. Knight b4.
Look, Peter doesn't love it, but I'm not. There's nothing super inherently wrong right away with it.
Yeah, no, I mean, Peter's slight advantage to Kelsey, but that's just purely some positional wizardry in its computer circuits. Kelsey attacks again, though. I think really knight d3 now is the only reasonable move.
Yeah, and that does essentially drop that pawn on d4.
Yeah, the queen will no longer be protecting. Kelsey would have an opportunity to grab it. Also, I like that for Kelsey too, because then, you open up the attack on that knight there too with the bishop. I mean, currently defended by the queen, but more of a threat.
Yeah, let's get ourselves into some trouble here. They're not careful. Nothing too crazy as of yet, though. You just lose the pawn. You can move the bishop to e2 and castle and get yourself situated. Play a pawn down. It's not the end of the world. You got a little bit more space with that pawn out of there. Just gotta figure out how to take advantage of it.
Nice.
Really?
I'm curious about maybe what White can be thinking here for like long-term plans outside of just, castling here. I'm not seeing anything on the board that I particularly like, but maybe there might be something different, and maybe you have something like after knight to e3, maybe you have the knight just can move back to e3. Maybe that would be another way that you could reposition your pieces a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she takes. Okay, so knight sacrifice. Maybe going for an opportunity just to kind of try and break open Kelsey's position a little bit.
Oh, and we the knight takes, so we do have this nice pawn fork on d5. We'll see if White spots this. Or you fork the two knights with the pawn.
There we go. We got a little producer producing here, showing us the fork there. Technology, folks. Oh, Leslie does not find it though. She pins the knight.
I wonder if we might get. It'd be really tempting to play knight takes the pawn here on d4, but that other knight can't move, so you can't actually take it back here. So we'll see if White has another opportunity to win one of these knights.
Yeah.
Be a tough move to spot.
Yeah.
That bishop is under fire here. We might just see bishop back to e2, and instead we get a pawn push.
No
that just drops the bishop on that b5 square.
Yeah. See if Kelsey takes. Yep, she does.
And spots like that are it's what allowed Kelsey to stay undefeated this season. Just spots the moves in the position that are there and takes them.
Leslie, I think trying to call timeout. Don't believe we've instituted timeouts as a rule in this season.
Hey, I would love it. If I could take a timeout and then retroactively do it before I blunder, that would be fantastic. I'm all for this timeout thing.
All right. Leslie checks.
We'll see what we have. We can block with multiple different pieces here. 4 different ones, actually.
She's the bishop. I think, yeah. I kind of like just blocking with the queen, which pretty much nearly forces the trade, I think. Kelsey at this point,
close to
two minor pieces.
Yeah, I think you technically have bishop f free, and you might
Yeah,
still be
that's
okay.
true.
But
Kelsey still with plenty of time on her clock. Leslie has used a lot more so far.
yeah, I wonder if we'll get queen takes the knight on b5 and followed by taking the pawn on b7 after the bishop takes the other knight on g4. We'll get maybe some other kind of variation.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like for black here, just moving that knight that's under fire back to
There are lots of things.
c7.
Yeah.
There are lots of moves.
Yeah, see if it survives this turn.
Commentators are talking about it right now.
Apparently we're in Leslie's head.
I sure hope not. It's not the role of what the commentators are here to do. We're just here to have some fun watching some fun and interesting chess that takes place at Free Magnus Bruin.
Kelsey seeming cool and confident.
Yeah, you're up 6 points of material and almost 10 minutes on the clock. It'd be feels pretty good. And we get a surprising move, the one that was not on our radar at all. And h4 taking some space.
Yeah. Perhaps also looking at bringing that bishop out to g5 to threaten in another move, maybe. Could be some of the thought there.
Well, I don't hate it. When you get a quick move, and Kelsey, I think, seeing that maybe after that bishop move, there's some shenanigans that might try to take place against the queen, decides to move the queen out to b6.
Defends that knight now as well.
I think I would really think about playing just bishop to e3 feels very natural here.
Do it.
So she does see the e3 move.
Good vision, and now the queen really can only wants to keep defending that knight, can really only go to
a6, yeah.
a6.
Interesting.
And if I was white here, I'd be very tempted to just play something like Rook D1 or Castle or Maybe
Yeah.
even a reroute of the night, but I don't think that we're probably going to see that. I would probably say Rook D1 or castling is probably a little bit more likely.
Yeah, I like castling here.
And this game is going to be just tough for white because clock is going down and used roughly almost half their time so far for white on the clock. And so you don't want to get down by material and in the clock too badly because it quickly becomes unsurmountable.
Yeah. Yeah, even if Leslie can kind of maintain without losing too much more at this point, yeah, clock could start becoming a concern pretty quickly. We got F3.
And in the night,
Oh,
We got
Kelsey
a-
quickly along long castles.
and I really don't love that move, but I do see the idea behind it. You just shove this pawn up the board, create a really strong attack. You got all of the pieces in the world focusing on that D4 square. For white here, I'm really liking maybe Queen F2 here. Just creating a little bit of a battery. Maybe you can get that bishop into B6, staring at that rook. Not sure what else there is to play for in this position. Maybe pushing the pawn to A4 in the knight to double up the pawns with the queen trade, but down 6 points of material, I would not recommend that.
Yeah, seems tough. I still like, yeah. Despite the kind of pawn structure on the king side, I think castling still could be an option, but get a knight attack. And Kelsey quickly takes the knight with the white bishop.
And you actually didn't want to take back there. You wanted to take with the pawn, attacking the queen and the knight afterwards, getting a second fork there.
Mhm.
But taking back is logical. One of your pieces just gets taken, and it's really hard to resist the urge not just take back. And plus, you still get an attack on that knight, and the knight's still got to go somewhere. So
Yeah.
let's see what Kelsey chooses to do.
Girl, you're running out of time.
Am I? I'm running out of time, Leslie. I'm running out of time.
We got some good banter over the clock on the board, and we do see a knight move.
Okay.
Leslie, position is pretty open right now. King's is kind of out there. I think Kelsey something like Rook E8 would not be great for Leslie.
Yeah, we'll see if it's spotted. I still think your castling move here is still very good. Maybe even castling long, just hitting that pawn.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I kind of like the long castle just because the with that rook ending up on d1. Seems like a decent position for white considering the circumstances.
Yeah, I don't mind this rook move here. It's hitting a weak pawn, and maybe we'll see a take here on that pawn. Getting the rook down to the 7th rank. It's always a good place for your rook.
Mm-hmm.
Maruchan.
Let's take that pawn.
Now I'm curious to see what Kelsey's going to play here, because there's not any immediate ideas that come to my mind that look particularly fantastic.
I think something just like g6 almost, you know, allow yourself to get your dark squared bishop into play. I think also an interesting idea. I don't think it forces anything per se, but I kind of like the idea of knight d4 as well. Kind of force that white queen to move somewhere.
Yeah, no, I think I like the idea as well. Instead, we get d5 played on the board, which I think is also pretty logical. White takes here, you can trade the queens immediately, which can only favor black in this position.
And then, yeah, king would take back, and then the other knight could take the pawn back, putting an attack on the pinned bishop at that point. So, yeah, pretty strong move. Got our quality producer arrows. Thank you, producer Ashley. A quick check. So a very brief complicated position there.
Yeah, let's check is interesting, because now you're going to move that king. You're essentially forcing this king off of this e1 square onto the f1 square, which I think is honestly a improved position for white when it was a move ago. You are winning that pawn if you choose to take it. Instead, we get a knight move.
I feel like pawn takes now. I mean, you would end up trading your... I guess there'd be ways for black to get out of it, but... I'm not quite sure what else... what other options white would have.
Yeah, I definitely don't hate going for it. You get the little... looks like a fork right away, and I think it's...
Or actually, another option here, if you take with the rook... There might just be some trickery you could do by then, yeah. So after this, maybe she's looking at getting those rooks paired up on that 7th rank.
That would be an extremely good move. Both the rooks on the 7th rank are really strong. The knights are covering the squares at the moment, but...
Yeah, knights defend a lot, but, you know, definitely give Kelsey more to think about and actually give Leslie I think her biggest threat so far of the game as far as attacking Kelsey's king.
Absolutely, and you might be able to pick up some pawns. If one of the knights move, you might actually be able to just go for it. Like, it definitely puts some real pressure on black for the first time in the game. And I think the more you're going to put pressure on your opponent, the better. Dropped him in, maybe even just taking on the pawn on b7 and seeing if they take with the queen.
Yeah.
You know that having the queens off the board for the 2 rooks is not the worst thing in the world, especially Yes, but now you just have
Oh,
a clean
wow.
book that's been offered up.
Yeah. And actually a huge swing on the advantage there.
And I think that's because the queen can't really go too many places that are useful
Yeah,
after.
it almost feels like there's a trap or something.
Oh, and
the
we have a plate
pontoon.
on the board. Ooh, could you
This
just
is-
push the pawn? Maybe not.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
I think maybe the correct move is to push the pawn here. I'm not entirely certain. No? Maybe you're supposed to play the rook up first and get both.
Yeah, I think maybe rook to d7 first. No? We can't find it.
Is it? Oh. Queen to c.
Oh, okay. Wow, that is hard to find.
Yeah, pinning the knight. And I think it's because maybe afterwards, maybe then you might have some rook team up shenanigans after everything gets traded.
Mhm.
And then maybe something like your dark squared bishop to b6.
Oh, and Leslie finds it. That's a fantastic find.
And that is just an absolutely disgusting move to find, and it puts Leslie right back in this game.
Yeah, so the game, it's got the game dead even right now. Wow, okay, so Kelsey pins the rook. Okay, I actually kind of like that in this position. Pins that rook at least. Do you just take with the queen here? No.
Do you pawn push now? No?
So rook d7 maybe at this point?
It is
Yeah.
rook d7.
7, yep.
Rook d7, then I'm assuming you get a rook takes, and then you're just still locked into this position. That move is going to be tough to find. I think it's a lot more likely that we just see rook takes. But if you can find queen c4, you can find pretty much anything, because that move is not easy to play. You got a knight for a pawn sitting on the board here with an open king and playing queen c4. That's some crazy stuff.
Yeah, it really did develop into a wild position here.
Clock is going to become a major
Okay.
factor here as Leslie is now dropped below 10 minutes.
That's the problem. I never know what to do.
I mean, we could have some fun here. It can be quick.
I don't know.
And I wonder how bad just taking with the rook here actually is. You take the rook, and then black takes back the rook, gets the check, and you move back to g1. I don't see any immediately bad things happening.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I think. Oh, she takes. Queen immediately takes back. So we got a queen trade.
Yeah.
I think this is. Yeah, now I think Kelsey can take the rook with check. Yep. And I think Kelsey might escape now.
And regardless of the outcome of this game, that's an absolutely incredible fight put up by Leslie in this game to come back from down the position that.
Oh yeah, for
And-
sure. I would have not imagined she could, find a position like that. But almost, yeah, kind of trapping the queen in the corner, really advancing her piece as well. It was, yeah, I'm impressed. Okay, now she's lining her rooks up. That's Kelsey.
I like that move. It just establishes that battery down the lane. And we get a bishop move. Trying to get that bishop in there, maybe to push that pawn to defend it. Unfortunately, that knight's still guarding that square, but if a knight was to ever take its eyes off of it, you never know. You could end up with a queen. Until that pawn dies and you can remove that pawn.
Yeah,
There's
I think
always going to be a chance.
Yeah, that's Leslie's. Yeah, she's got to keep that pawn now. I think that's her greatest opportunity is defend it, and maybe if Kelsey's not vigilant, she might get an opportunity to promote it. Okay, we get a check. I think King H2 is forced. I don't see a super great follow-up. Nothing. No mates threatened here, I don't think.
Yeah, no, and this is not the easiest position to win. It's not just winning on the spot per se. As black, I think you have to do some rook maneuvering, maybe take some of those pawns on the queen side and push that pass pawn. But I don't know. It's just not. This is not the easiest position to win in the world. Chelsea, you got to be very careful. If you ever move that knight, this could get dangerous very quickly going the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time. Take your time.
Kelsey, this is one of the longer moves, considerations she's made before a move. Pulls the bishop back.
I don't necessarily think that's a bad move. Maybe you can trade it on, consolidate down and trade on the d8 square, potentially.
Yeah, also, I think threatening the H pawn there in front of the king. I think maybe she's trying to get some more attackers moved over with that, kind of, like you said, with the knight kind of immobilized. Might need to get the bishop involved if she needs to find a checkmate. Yeah, it's really interesting. We'll see what gets played, and we have
rook to e5 played, and it looks like it forks two pieces.
Yeah, I think I need to do rook, one of the rooks f6 to defend, perhaps.
I believe that should work.
Oh, un saludo para Leticia. Shout out for Leticia. Shout out for Anthony. Shout out for my papito, mi mamita.
Got some shout outs here. Hello, everybody watching. Hope you're enjoying. It's turned into a really great game. Kelsey had a strong advantage, but Leslie has fought back quite a bit. Kelsey's still on top in terms of what the computer sees, but still pretty strong threat from that advanced pawn on the queen side there. Okay. Pushes the pawn, so the knight is free for taking. Leslie does. Now the bishop under threat. See how she handles that.
Yeah, you gotta be a little bit careful here. I think as long as you trade the bishop down, you're probably okay, but the things start getting really interesting with that pawn all the way pushed up on the c6. It's a very dangerous pawn.
Yeah.
And this is where the clock advantage that Kelsey has built up throughout the game can really come in handy. You can really just take your time, try to calculate, find a good move.
Yeah, Leslie down to 6 minutes 45, rough 6:43. This is when the clock starts to become a concern. Pulls the rook back.
And that's a safe move. And you gotta think about maybe pushing the pawn on h4 to h5, or maybe taking the pawn on a5, and instead we get a pawn push.
King moves, okay. Attacks the rook. Gives an opening for promotion, but Leslie needs to find a way to get another defender over there. I imagine should just probably pull the rook back here.
Yeah, I think maybe pulling the rook back and going for that a5 pawn and trying to play that 2-pawn majority on that queen side is probably your best course of action here.
Mm-hmm.
Next to pass pawns can be a very dangerous thing. But
she attacks the a pawn.
I like that quite a bit, and we'll see how the king responds. We'll see if the king goes to c6 here, or if we get like a rook move, a bishop move to d6 could be.
Yeah, I was looking at that's like what I would consider is that bishop d6.
I think you can still take the pawn on a5 if that's done, or you can pin it to the king. But at the end of the day, it's delaying the inevitable. You just don't have enough defenders of that forward pawn.
Mm-hmm. Kelsey does have to be careful, though. I think maybe our stream might be a little laggy.
Yes, our clock is not moving We're down here. Let's maybe let's see. Dealing with some technical difficulties.
I think we're okay. I think Twitch we're okay. This might just be our commentator setup might be a little lagging. So if we're not catching them up on the moves, bear with us. And I think we did get Kelsey moving that bishop to d6, and I believe the rook got captured. Yes. So, advantage strongly with Kelsey now.
Yeah, and we got the triple pawn stack, which is one of the more uglier stacks that you can see in chess. Not what you want. And this is one of my favorite times to play for stalemate.
Yeah, it'd be good, but Leslie still has a lot of pieces on the board. Get a take with check here. Looks like Kelsey gonna snag some more pawns. What a quick move now.
Yeah, Leslie's really starting to run out of the clock.
Yeah, that kind of thing happens, but actually she promoted the pawn there. Got that queen back momentarily.
It's time to start going for it. Going for the old stalemate.
Yeah.
Oh.
Moves the king. Yeah, we could see, I don't know, Kelsey might try and pick off these pawns too. Always possible.
Were you trying to push these pawns up into the other pawns, hoping they take, and then maybe keeping that G pawn around just in case it accidentally gets blocked at some point?
Kelsey pulls the bishop all the way back to the corner.
This is somebody that's wary of stalemate, not taking 3 pieces on the board.
All right. Perhaps the king on that H file. And get a pawn push.
We'll see here if we end up having to move to go for checkmate. Instead, no, we just get a bishop move.
Well, one more pawn gone.
There we go. Now we want to move back towards the H file here and try to sit with that pawn and try to create a stalemate trap.
Like Jon Snow
Maybe move the pawn to A4 if black does not take on the next turn.
save him from the attack of the dead, king of the dead. That chapter, they were like.
Leslie is comparing herself to Jon Snow.
Girl, take your time.
I am trying to figure out what to do next.
Is that a you know nothing? I put that could be a you know nothing, perhaps.
I got money on star, on star, on star.
All right, another check from Leslie.
Money on star.
Only under 3 minutes, I think, on Leslie's clock. Here comes the rook checks. Is this forcing her to back to the other side of the board?
What did I do wrong?
I'm seeing Kelsey has plenty of time, so Kelsey take the time. Try to find the winning moves here.
You're going crazy.
Give me move D6.
If Leslie pushes that pawn, that moves the king back.
And this could be pretty dangerous as far as getting yourself in trouble. And the only saving grace is that you do have the pawn still on the G file. If that pawn was not there, this would be a prime stalemate trap. After you get the check, and then you go to A2 here.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, the conditions just aren't quite there.
Oh, yeah. A2 forced. And there's the checkmate. Well played. Hugs.
And that was a couple of very excellent games that we've had. I'm excited to talk to players about this one.
Did it, girl.
And there, oh, there's the handshake. Good sportsmanship.
You're up first.
Do we need mic headphones, I think? Oh, she's getting them. All right. Leslie, can you hear us?
Of course.
Hello? I think
Hello?
we're... Yes. Getting it set up here, folks.
Be sure I'm putting my eyes in the right spot.
Leslie, can you hear us?
I can. Who is here?
How you... Huh?
Who is here? Who is this one?
This is Funk. We got Wyatt here as well.
Hi, Fang.
Well fought. Tough loss. But how do you feel after that one?
I mean, I have to be honest. I wasn't very confident about it because Kelsey has, she has had very hard games and she won all of them. So that's why I wanted to be my entrance the most, nice possible. Because you cannot win two things. You cannot win your entrance and make a good game. So I said, okay, I'm gonna make a crazy entrance so people will forget that I lose. So at the beginning of the game, I was trying to make it work, but then she has all the peons working on the third line, and my poor horse. It was like I'm not ready to lose a horse, so I was struggling. And then I feel like maybe I can do it, but as soon as she took my bishop, I was losing.
Yeah. It was. Oh, I think we got your entrance videos playing again on stream. So yeah, I think I feel like you definitely won that. It looks like you had some help from Jonathan and some other patrons there.
I have to try to find some cash that I left on the floor. So after this, I'm gonna try to find the few dollars that I left on the floor.
Awesome. Yes. Well, yeah. The quality of our entrance vids is just getting higher with each person. We've had roller skates now, and piles of money. I don't know what else people are gonna do here.
Yeah, you know, I was just texting with my sister, and I was telling her that I wanted to look like Megan Thee Stallion, you know, kind of that kind of woman. But I was, you know, to be a bitch, you have to born a bitch. But actually, I'm just a regular woman that cannot pretend to be a really bitch. So I was trying to do it, and shout out for Jonathan, shout out for Doug who gave me the money, shout out for Kelsey.
Did you return the money?
Of course.
Okay.
So it has been fun.
Yeah. Like I said, we got Wyatt here. Wyatt, did you have questions for Leslie?
Well, Leslie, during that game, you actually had a really nice attack, and you found a really nice move that me and Funk were complimenting you for on a queen move that actually put you back even in the position with the game. How did you feel during the game? Did you feel like you ever had a point where you were starting to get a good attack going, or
there was a moment
how
of the
did it
game
feel?
that I thought that I was gonna win. I was thinking, okay, commentators was maybe destroying me at the beginning, but then they might be kind of approving what I'm doing. So it was like, what I'm gonna do, and I was overthinking that I didn't figure it out that Kelsey has 20 minutes and I just have like 10 minutes. So I started to feel nervous about it, but I was thinking I should be saying everybody that I'm doing great. So I was thinking how the white bar is at the top of my game. I was confident for a while, but then I think Kelsey moved his king in a way I didn't expect it, because I was like, okay, she's gonna move here, and then the king went to the place I didn't want it to be. That was not even one of the things I thought she was gonna do. So when she did it, I was kind of loose, and I didn't have more time. So I want to say sorry to all my followers and people who loved me.
It's okay. I think it's forgivable. It was a very, very good game, a terrific entrance. And Kelsey's the only person undefeated. So I think there's no shame in
I think she's, driving and practicing. Because actually she was very tired during the game. So that was, good for me.
Yeah, you're trying to take advantage of that.
Yeah, but shout out for my sister that she has been encouraged me to do things great and don't feel tiny like you can do it. Kill that blonde bitch. And sorry, Leticia, I couldn't do it. But in a good way. I mean, she said black hair against blonde hair. In a good way. I promise, Kelsey, in a good way. She's so sweet.
Awesome. Well, again, congratulations. Well played. Hopefully we'll see you. I think this was your first season 2 stream, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
This is the first time.
So we need to get you on stream again.
Yeah, of course. We will have more money, music, more dresses, fake lashes.
There you go.
They are going to prepare it better.
My turn.
Okay. I think, we're switching, I believe, to Kelsey.
Kelsey, a bitch confirmed. Damn.
Christ almighty.
Kelsey, congratulations.
Thanks. Thank you.
How are you feeling?
I am exhausted. My brain today coming into this, I'm sure Ashley was having a panic moment because I was very late for my production duties. And sorry, I'm going to fix this real fast because there's a height difference. Anyway, I was running late. I'm exhausted. Playing last, and man, Leslie gets funky in there. She messed up any opportunity of me getting that board set up, and I just had no opportunity to get that confidently done. And she also talks shit the entire time. You can't hear her because she's really quiet. She like
Okay, so there's some secret trash talking going on, is what you're saying.
100%. This is Thatcher. Isn't he adorable? It's Lucas's baby.
Oh,
He's the best.
secret weapon, I think, tonight.
100%, yes. Anyway, there were several moves. I can't wait to watch that back. That I know I had some misses, definitely some mistakes, trying to just navigate her chaos, honestly. But hey, tomorrow's my birthday and I'm undefeated still. So what's up?
Oh, okay. Early happy birthday. Wyatt, do you have questions for the soon-to-be birthday girl?
Yeah, sure. How many games are you gonna plan on winning this season? I mean, are you gonna go all the way?
I think at some point I'm gonna get relegated up, which I'm nervous about because that third division is pretty spicy. I don't know.
So the goal is to break into the next level playoffs.
I think so. It might happen. We'll see. I'll get
Okay.
humbled there. I'm just kidding. No, I love everyone I'm playing with. It's been fun. I like
Awesome.
winning. Can't complain. I'm learning a lot.
Leslie had a lot of shout outs. Do you want to also get some shout outs in?
I'm just going to shout out you, Funk, and Wyatt. Thank you guys.
Oh,
Love to Ashley
Thank
for
you.
all this chaos. Did a great job per usual. Thanks to
Awesome.
everybody that was listening and watching today. I know Van was up there with her iPad, so thanks, Van. Say hey to your mom.
Look at that. There we go.
Bye, guys.
You're still undefeated. Division 4 leader Kelsey winning again tonight. I think that's about it for us. Wyatt coming for the final 2 games. Thank you. We had Toad, game 1, first commentary of the year. Producers Ashley and Kelsey behind the scenes. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to 3 Magnets, as always, for hosting down in Olympia, Washington. This was Olympia Blunders Chess. Hope you join us again Thursdays and occasional fancy special streams. Wyatt, have any shout outs before we go?
Just shout out all our players. Getting some fun chess. We're getting some exciting chess. Everyone's improving. Can't wait for the playoffs to hit.
Awesome. There you go. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.